Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S. Excuse me, sorry. Back again with another video, having another drink. Hope everyone's well. Um, so I hope I don't repeat too many of my points that I made before or my ideas. And you know what? It's like I know it's 10 o'clock. It's nearly 8:30, and it's like still quite bright out there, so that's pretty cool. It's pretty nice, blue sky, thank God. Um, so I hope that lasts for as long as possible. I thought there was going to be a thunderstorm, but it looks like the sky is nice and blue. So I hope that lasts, as I say. Anywho, sorry for muffling. I thought I'd get on with this part two of this video about M.K.S for Asia. M.K.S being my initials, which stand for, I don't know if I should say my initials, but anywho, I don't know if I should give too much info away, but just in case there's any notices out there. But anyway, moving on. Don't want the video to be too long. I think I did quite well last time to keep the video quite short. So fairly well, not short, but fairly short. Anyway, so number 11, I hope to have like a strong Asian union, to encourage the idea, promote the idea of a strong Asian union. Although if it was called AU, it could be mixed up with the African Union, but which looks to resolve conflict between Asian nations and maybe like be mediators which condemn any violence between Asian nations or protect Asian nations from invasions and things like an anti-imperialist group. And so like conflicts between India and China, or India and Pakistan, or China and Japan, which whereby they so they can come along and mediate and try and end those conflicts. And I don't know how they'd sort of South and North Korea, but hopefully find a way to sit down with them and make like some sort of agreement and diplomacy to stop any violence between Asian nations. And I suppose this is a bit of a difficult one, but we're between Iran, and this is quite a controversial one, obviously, Iran or North Korea, and I wouldn't want to offend anyone, but if there's some way that, again, they can mediate, maybe even mediate between them and America and try and make peace, so try and avoid conflict somehow. Maybe I'm being very idealistic, but with things like the Kashmir conflict or the conflicts between China and India, again, China and Japan, over disputed land or something like that, and sit down and listen to both sides' argument of why they feel they own that land or should own that land, and try to mediate between them and make peace. Talking about VE Day today, like Victory in Europe Day, as I talked in my previous video about, is like I think it's a good time to talk about how to resolve conflict and how that could benefit Asian nations, and in the past, how European nations have sought to divide Asian nations, and how now would be a great time to unite. And I've thought these acronyms and acronyms for organisations like try and remember them now, but I don't know, they could be like the the Asian Peace Union, or AA could be Africa to Asia networks, or AA could also be Asian alliances, or AU. I did think of some ideas in the shower, but I forgot them now. So anyway, yeah. So there could be like different organisations which I dream to make in the future. But yeah, seeking to make peace between Asian nations and bring them together as much as possible. And also support projects to do with Asia, like inventors and things like and YouTubers, and all sorts of projects to empower Asians and make Asia proud and united, things like that. As Bob Marley said with Africa, maybe there could be one for Asia to unite. I find it quite coincidental because he was mixed race just like me, so it takes a mixed race person to say that. So that's, I think, like, rather than a full Asian or pure breed, whatever you call it. Anyway, number 12, I hope to encourage girls' education and empowerment of girls to learn things like science, engineering, maths, and all sorts of key areas, how to promote tourism, and all sorts of areas which will help like Asian girls to learn how to be confident in expressing themselves, and poetry, writing, art, and all sorts of things like that. And help them to get their books published and also and that sort of thing, and write their poetry and be proud of it. Encourage people to support them as much as possible. number 13, I know there's lots of negatives about Asia as well. Like, I know that it can be quite racist in some areas, so I hope to change some of those things, and again cover some of the negative stuff as well. 14, I hope to look how they can solve those problems and turn those negatives around, and again look at how conflict and things like that can be resolved, and how Asian nations can be encouraged to work together more to tackle things like environmental problems, like global warming, whatever, and diseases which are prevailing in the world now, how they can work together to sort those problems out and help each other, and also possibly market those solutions to the rest of the world so they can monetize them and things like that. Again, at this moment, I'm mainly trying to empower Asia, but I also wish to make the world a better place, but I'm wishing to focus mainly on Asia. 15, I hope for Asian nations to discuss what their sort of goals are, so like China and India can sit down and talk about what sort of things they want to, like China can discuss with India what its goals are, and India and vice versa, and they can discuss how they can help each other to reach their goals, like it could be tackling poverty or global warming, or ensuring they don't get invaded, or whatever it is that helps Asian nations as they were divided in the past. I hope they will be united, as I also hope for Africa as well. But yeah, they can share goals and see how they can support each other's goals and share information with each other, that advice and what they can learn from each other and things like that. 16, I hope to learn as much as I can about Asia and facts and about the projects, engineering and other such projects that Asia are doing, and things like India's Make in India project, and all sorts of things like that, and talk about what they can do to help each other, and analysing how they can achieve more and help their economies to grow and things like that. If they work together, I think they do much more when they're united than when they're divided or when they're apart or working alone, because they say two heads are better than one. So I think billions of heads are going to do much more over time as well. So I don't know if you agree with that. I know some people might say too many cooks spoil the broth, but I wonder which side you side on, because I think that unity is better. And European nations divided Asian nations in the past, and obviously that was to keep them down. So obviously if they do the opposite, it will lift them up, I imagine, hopefully. 17, I hope to recreate like the East India Company, but this time for the benefit of India. And I like to promote things about Asia generally, but especially about India, like Indian projects, Indian music, movies, films, whatever, projects that India does and things like that, and Indian goals and Indian entrepreneurship, sports, and all sorts of things, Indian politics, and that sort of thing. So, and I also hope to promote like anti-imperialism and pan-Asianism, pan-Africanism, and things like that as an ideal, and the East India Company, and there could be one for like Africa, East Africa Company, and how the European nations benefit in the past, these nations can benefit now. Like the Dutch East India Company can be like benefiting just as it benefited the Dutch in the past. It can benefit like Indonesia or South Africa or other countries, that other nations that nations whichever term you prefer, which South Africa invaded before. 18, again, hope to like look at what Asians can look at to what things can make Asians proud, like their inventions, their maths, contributions to science, maths, inventions, or other things that make them proud to be Asian. I know I covered that in my previous video, one of my previous videos, like how Robbie Lyle from Arsenal Fan TV was talking about what makes him proud to be black. So I think like Asians could talk about what makes them proud to be Asian and things like that, and what they love about each other's countries and all that sort of thing. Nations, whatever you want to call it. I say nations because it rhymes with Asian, but nation and country are used interchangeably. 19, I hope they help to work on solving each other's problems again, and look at how they can tackle challenges to growth and things like that. And 20, again, hope that I think I've done fairly well to keep this video fairly short. So I don't know what you think about that, but thanks for any views, comments, likes, or any other support of the channel. Peace and love. Oh, P.S. I'd love to know. Please don't hold back any comments. Thanks.